Hi. How is everybody today? Hope everyone's all right. I've got some information I'll obviously put in the links in the description. There's quite a good program on today about mental health. So if anyone is suffering from, feeling low or anxious or lonely, then this program's quite good, and I'll put a link to it in the description, as I said. But basically, it's just kind of reiterating everything that deep down we already know. You know what I mean? Which is doing exercise makes you feel better, eating better makes you feel better, getting into nature makes you feel better, drinking less, putting less chemicals in your body, all of these things. Yeah. The thing is, once you've beaten your own demon, right, and you're in a happy place, things are different. Yeah, when you have control, because when you're, your mind chimp, your little devil, your inner demon, whatever, when that has control, it's not a good place to be. Yeah. But once you've beaten that, and you know what triggers you to make you upset or angry or whatever, then it's a different space. So then if you want to have a drink and get shit-faced, that's fine, because you know that's what you're doing and you're coming from a happy place. You're not controlled by it. So when you get up the next day, you know you're going to be cool. You're not going to feel guilty, you're not going to feel ashamed of yourself, you're just going to get on. It's when it controls you is the problem. When you feel like you need to do it to escape what is. And the only way to really do that is to just deal with we can't pretend that we haven't got emotion, we haven't got these emotions or these problems. So we have to deal with, you have to deal with them and work through the emotions. There's no point numbing them. You're not doing yourself any favors. And it really doesn't matter how much anyone tells anyone either. Because unless you decide you wanna actually sort it out, no one else can sort it out for you but you. But you'd be in a much happier place, much stronger place if you do. Because what you find is then suddenly, because you're dealing with them, once you've dealt with the emotions, and you can deal with them quicker. That process of problem, emotion, solution, done, right? If somebody would do it. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. So that process just becomes a lot quicker. And actually dealing with it is so much better than not dealing with it. This is coming from somebody, I just pretended things weren't happening for a long time. And then was just like, why am I not feeling any better? It's because you're just doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. And yeah, things are just better, you know? Every little step you take towards, you know, dealing with whatever it is, the problem, you know, if it's whatever the problem is, if it's like a relationship issue, a mental health issue, or, you know, with your kids or job or whatever, as soon as you actually start, no matter how small, start doing whatever towards sorting it out, you finally you feel better at every step you take. You're like, yeah, man, I'm doing it. I'm actually doing it. Until it's done. And then you're like, yeah, smashed it. So I'll put a link into this program because it has some good suggestions. Or because there's some other things, but things like there was a group as well. What are they called? Flock Together. That's it. Bird watching, right? My dad used to be a bird watcher. It's not something I've ever gotten into, but there's a couple of things that suggested it now. One is the RSPB are doing this thing called the do you know what I mean? I'll go through so much stuff I have to like write everything down. The Big Garden Bird Watch. So I'll put a link into that as well. Chris Packham, Ledge. So basically, next week I think it is, they're going to do a prep thing online every night, and that you can send off for this like free book, and it gives you information on different birds to look for. So it's a good thing to do with the kids, and you learn about birds, of which there's loads. And it's just something different to do. And it's, you know, learning about nature, all the good stuff. And also with the RSPB, you can pay £5 a month, and you get a free bird table, and you get free entry and parking into 170 nature reserves, and you get a newsletter. You get something else. That's so good for £5. So you obviously be taking the kids out to nature reserves and stuff. So big up the old nature reserves and RSPB. So I'm just waiting for my pack to come through. So I'll show you that when it does come through. So that starts on the 29th. And then just as a side note, aren't birds great? Like, you think about it, you know, like in Lord of the Rings, when they send the messages by the ravens. Well, if you actually look that up in history, they did do that. So birds are actually very clever. Do you know what I mean? You think about people that race pigeons and that. Like, they aren't stupid, are they? I don't think we give birds enough credit. Think about an eagle. You know what I mean? What about penguins? Those guys mate for life. They manage to survive huddled together, don't they? Like, do you know what I mean? oh, just, yeah. So, who else have I watched today that I thought was interesting? With some good stuff. So much, you know what I mean? Oh, I just kind of just have this newfound respect for, I guess, never really appreciated all these different, it's going to sound stupid, but until you are kind of in this situation that we're in, you don't really think, I'd never really thought about a load of, you know, specific jobs. And I'll tell you, for example, I was watching CSI today. Now, that's a hard job, that, isn't it? Like people who do crime scene investigation. So one, they don't get a thanks at all. Who gives them thanks? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, big up all the crime scene investigators. That is a hard job. That cannot be an easy job to do. Like, mentally. And you're damn sure that if something happened to someone in your family, you'd want, you know what I mean? You'd expect them to be there. You'd expect them to do a great job for you. You expect them to find the killer, and then they don't get no thanks for it. So big up all the crime scene investigators. And then on from there, I thought, well, what about medical examiners? They don't get no thanks either, do they? The ones that have to do the autopsies on those kind of situations. So loving out to you guys, because these are hard jobs that people have to do. They get absolutely no thanks for it whatsoever, do they? Just kind of, I don't know. I just got this whole other, I don't know. And then I've kind of got it onto all sorts. I went from there to like all jobs. Like, have we really thought about it on that level? It's only because this year, like, obviously thinking that the doctors and the nurses, all the frontline workers, all these people deserve medals, but then so do crime scene investigators, so do medical examiners, so does every person that works in Army, Navy, come on, RAF, sorry, Air Force, Marines, Elite Force. These people. There's so many you don't even think about that are doing jobs, doing really hard jobs that we would expect, if something happened to us personally, you'd expect them to be there. You'd expect them to do the best bloody job they've ever done because it's you. But because it isn't, no one ever thinks about it, or up until this minute, hasn't ever thought about it because it's not happening to you personally. But actually, everyone, you know what I mean? I think we just need to be a bit more conscious of like everyone's role in this big, beautiful world that we live in. Because if you know, let's go like to farmers. That's a hard job. You know? They're feeding everybody. And they work long hours, and they do it because they love it. And often they're sort of neglected or forgotten about, and they get, you know, hard done by crazy legislation that's put in that just kind of, or because of monopoly with supermarkets, and it's like a race to how least they can get paid. Like, it's just, the system is fucked up. You know what I mean? These guys work long hours to grow the food that we eat. And then you've got people like these psychos that are just out to destroy everything. I'm not saying that. The thing is, I've literally just obsessed. I've 13 months of my life, literally. Started off as one thing. It started off as I want to be a better person for myself. But now it's like I'm on a mission. I am on a mission. And the more that I kind of find out, it's the same people over and over again that are responsible for a lot of the things that are wrong. Yeah. And that, you know, I think we just need to really get used to this, the idea that this, you know, it's like people know, but they don't want to know, and they pretend it's not happening. We just need to face up to what is happening. And that there are evil people with evil intentions. And unfortunately, they have a lot of money, a lot of power, a lot of influence. And that's just not a good combo, is it? And literally, history itself is all the evidence that is required. But looking at it from history from everywhere, when you add it in, because if you know, history is often written by the winner, isn't it? And also, generally speaking, you only know the history, if at all, of your own country. Because don't forget, the system is designed to only teach what they want you to know. Hence a curriculum, which is a complete waste of time, right? They don't inspire you to go to, they don't really inspire you to do anything. They quash dreams. You think as well, like, go, if you, what's that film? Because films as well. America, man, I love you. Literally, so much love. You lot are geniuses, right? So, Benjamin Button, right? There's from now where I'm looking at it, because when you're born, your brain, you know, when you're younger, anything is possible, isn't it? Think about it. When you're in primary school, you just have these wild imaginations, and then they try and force you into what they say is normal. Try and force you into this box. And that is just not what we are. And it doesn't allow for any sort of free thinking, or because there's lots of ways to do lots of things, but they teach you one way, and if you don't do that way, then they'll basically make you feel like you're stupid. or you can't do it. And once you feel like that, they're quashing dreams. And that's why people will just get, won't pay attention. So they feel like they've been made to feel like they're stupid and they don't know it. And because the system, they don't put any money into the system, into the education system. There's not enough teachers. There's not, they're not paid enough. So with all the things, any public service right about now, if you think about it, none of them are supported enough. They're not got enough staff. They're not got enough money to give what they need to give. And then it's like, well, where's that money gone then? I'm going to put a link to the budget so you can see it for yourself. It's there in black and white. Because people's money is not going back into the people, is it? And also, saying about history, to really understand why this is happening now, you have to understand how we have come to be. And not just from our country, from all countries. Because when you see that, then you see. And divide and conquer by location, by race, by religion, has been a method of distraction since the dawn of time. Because that is not, they're trying to distract people from the fact that actually we're fighting amongst ourselves for no reason, when we need to be focusing on those ones. Yeah? They've got like this. No. Yeah? It's humans versus demons. That's what it is. It is. Evildoers. Wrong-uns. I could go through a whole load of swear words. Because they are literally fucked up. And I'm going to share. So I've done my, because everything is a sign. Someone told that to me. Someone said that to me beginning of last year, when I told them that I'd woken up every night for a week at 3:30, and someone else had said to me, "Oh, that's a sign that you've got a guardian angel." So then I started looking into it, and then it's the numbers, synchronicity, all of this kind of good stuff. And then someone else said to me, "Everything is a sign." Okay. So I took everything as a sign. So something, if I just listened to myself, i.e., if something jumped out to me and something in me said, check that. I checked it. And it would have direct relevance to something else that I'd either learned or thought about or looked at the day before or whatever. There'd be a link to something else. So now I just do it with absolutely everything. And it is astonishing what I'm learning, literally. So I did it again today with here's a good one. Here is a good one. So earlier on, so there's flood warnings at the moment, and thoughts go out to everybody that's in that area, which I am as well. But It's just windy. It's not right. It's not really rainy. Right. So check this. So they were on the news, and they said, you know, they were talking about the flood warnings, and then they said, oh, we're just going to go over to Fish Lake. Science said to me, look up Fish Lake. So I did. Let me tell you a little bit about Fish Lake. So Fish Lake is in a place called Doncaster, which is down the road from me for a start. So Fish Lake. So I googled Fish Lake, the history. And I'm going to put all these links in as well. But I'm going to read this to you. So Fish Lake is a village and civil parish in the Metropolitan Borough of Doncaster. It was historically part of West Riding of Yorkshire until 1974. In 2001, it had a population of 628, increasing to 682. It was mentioned in the Domesday Book. Now, if you don't know what the Domesday Book is, the Domesday Book is a manuscript record of the Great Survey of much of England and Wales in 1086 by order of William the Conqueror. And it was also Domesday, I think it's to do with the plague, isn't it? I'll go back to that in a minute. My primary piece of interesting from this it says, there is a local myth that the cockatrice of Church Street, the story goes that the mythical beast resides near the churchyard. Those unlucky enough to hear its call are said to never sleep again. Right? So first of all, I was like, oh, what's a cockatrice? So a cockatrice is a mythical beast, essentially a two-legged dragon or serpent-like creature with a rooster's head, described by Lawrence Brainer as an ornament in the drama and poetry of the Elizabethans. It was featured prominently in English thought or myth for centuries. Okay. So now I looked up, it says they're mythical beast. A legendary and mythical creature, also called fabulous creature and fabulous beast, is a supernatural animal, generally a hybrid, sometimes part human, whose existence has not or cannot be proved, and that is described in folklore and in historical accounts. Now, I could go on, but I'm just going to put the link in, because what I find interesting there is Fabulous Beast. You know what that reminds me of? Rowling, J.K. Rowling. She wrote that film, didn't she? So then I went from there. I thought, oh, hold on a minute. What about Harry Potter? So if you look up Harry Potter, there's a character in Harry Potter that was an actual English alchemist. Right? See where I'm going? See? So a lot of these films, right? A lot of films and TV programs that you think are fictional or just complete drama, they're actually based on real stories or real people. Well, some people know that, some people don't. But actually, and even things like CSI, NCIS, FBI, all of these, they're dramatizing, and the characters may be, some of the characters may be fake, or fictional, made up, but the story is based in part, at least, on something that is real. So you can take real information from all of these things. It's around us all the time. They've been telling us for forever. And this is the code. Because If you think back, when you think about literature, poetry, all of these things, 1984 by George Orwell. The Dictator, the film, The Dictator. All of these things have been trying to tell us elements of what is going on, of different parts of society, of the world. They're warnings almost. Contagion, outbreak. I mean, all of them. You could literally list all of them, really, couldn't you? And then you got to think, and then you got to add in people that are like psychic. Psychic ability is real. There's CIA documentation on research on it, as is there with paranormal activity. So spirits are real, demonic possessions are real. Because things have been what's the right word? Prophesized for centuries. And we just haven't listened. So we need to listen. We need to listen to the world around us that is screaming. Nature is screaming. The animals are screaming. History, the dead are screaming for us to listen. Because there is, we all need to understand that we're being distracted and distracted intentionally, so that this evil, this fuckery can go on like as an undercurrent. They think that they are so clever because they've gotten away with it for so long. And that is an absolute fact. They think they are so clever. Because let's remember, knowledge is how that is how they've kept the divide. Because when you have the knowledge of everything that is going on, the picture is clear as fucking day. It's like a bloody, they stand out like a sore thumb. Everything points to them. Actual evidence, like you can't get away from it, but you only know it, when you've seen it all, when you've read it all, when you've learned it all. And by keeping the divide between rich and poor, and that the same divide between education, access to education, that is how they've done it. You know what I mean? To keep people down and keep them up. And yeah. No, mate. No. So there is a horrific piece of information that I'm going to put on there. And it's going back to these biotech companies. This is a link to PCR testing, and how the PCR testing is being used as genomics surveillance, and then the link to that with the synthetic bit that is in the vaccines that has the ability to control that section as a method of, and I'm going to use a word that they use there, and then I'm going to ask you to think back to what Hitler was trying to achieve. And they use it on there. It's Thermo Fisher Scientific is the company, and I'm going to send you a link to their page that specifically does, and it's to do with cloning and cleansing, genetic cleansing. That's what they call it. Plain as day, it's on their website. So yet another reason why we need to avoid these vaccines. Just think about just masks as well in general, yeah? They're trying to shut us up. Do you know what I mean? That's what they're doing. Trying to separate, you know, thank that the internet is shit for some, because it obviously unites negativity. We've got to flood this place. We've got to flood it. Flood the internet with positivity. Just make it so you just can't get away from it. Because you know damn straight that they're doing the same with the negativity. And I literally just had, before I came on here, they someone put on a comment, right, on a comment that I'd made on surprise Jason Derulo song, and they'd put these were words: "Shut up, you fucking shit." My comment was tame. It was, "What islands are you going to?" So literally something like that. And that is what someone put on there. Like, what are these people? You know what I mean? It is concerning that there are people that are so negative that they're sat at home and all they do, Charles, all they do is scan people's posts solely to put shit like that. To put negative, like there was nothing, what doesn't even make any sense. And that is just staggering. Sticks and stones, my friends, sticks and stones. But you know, if you're not in you know, I can understand that if you're feeling down already, and then someone for no reason puts something like that on there, you could take that really personally. You could do, but you shouldn't, because it is nothing to do with you and it says everything about them. So just ignore it. If people listen, if anyone out there gets a negative comment of that, just delete it. They are so insignificant, these people. They should know better. And if I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for people like that. Because if that is what you're about, if that is truly all you want to do and achieve is to just negatively comment on people's posts, then get out, mate. Delete, erase, out. They shouldn't even be, you know what I mean? I know everyone deserves a second chance and help and everything like that, but come on. I mean, it's unnecessary. You're going out of your way. Someone's going out of their way for no reason. Don't know this person. My comment was completely neutral, of no relevance of anything. So for someone to put something like that, it's like, who are you? What? You're trying to, that's a going out of your way to make someone feel bad. But luckily I'm made of titanium, so, you know. I'm going off on a right tangent now. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, Compensation and Markets Authority. So if anyone out there is students for your rent, hashtag rent for now, put that on your post, and that's if you're having to pay for your first year halls, and you're not getting any rent rebate from the university. Also for people that have paid for holidays and then they've been cancelled because of COVID, including weddings as well. Complain and shame. Right to the Compensation and Markets Authority, and include Watchdog. So they're good guys. What was I going to say? There was another thing as well. Oh, so much information. Oh yeah, Cornwall. Rick Stein, that was it. So this guy, he's a chef. Big up the chefs. And he's doing this program where he's about Cornwall. Now, Cornwall, it says there that they've got one of the highest suicides in men. They used to have an engineering company there, and it's shut down. That's where most of the people in this particular village was work. Camgrove or something? Yeah. So, people of Cornwall, there is a church there that is growing saffron, right? Saffron is £35 a gram, right? And you can grow it. Saffron you can grow anywhere, again. And it's called Crocus sativus. Crocus sativus saffron. It's used in all the Michelin-star restaurants. £35 a gram. You can grow anywhere. You can grow it in your back garden. You can grow it in a pot. You can grow it in a window basket. So you can sell that, grow it and sell it. One thought. You've also got a unique to Cornwall, the Cornish saffron bun. Okay. So you could grow your own saffron, then you could make videos and sell, teaching the world how to make your Cornish saffron bun. Yeah. And you can make Cornish clotted cream. So you could grow the saffron, teach everyone how to make your Cornish saffron bun, unique to Cornwall, with your Cornish creams. Do you know what I mean? People will pay for that. Nothing's impossible. So there's that. yeah, there's some other numbers. You know, I said yesterday about how I watched another game show, and then they came with their results. So I checked the number because it jumped out at me. Did the same thing today. And all of them are genetic modifications, links to genetic modifications, which are all relevant to what's going on. So I'm going to put those in my thing. Also, I'm looking into, because I've been guided to it, the grievance procedure for the Scottish Parliament with regards to Alex Salmon vis-a-vis 2007. So I'm looking into that because I've been given some information on that. What else? What else, guys? I think that might be. I mean, there's a million things, really. My brain just constantly going, oh, wait a minute. No, it's not that one. Star of David. Oh, there we go. Come back to me. Right. So, yeah, this is it now. Thank God for that. Right. Oh, lockdown learning. So BBC. So anyone's got kiddies, there is free lockdown learning with BBC. Brian Cox. Lockdown learning BBC. I'm going to put a link to it in there. Then we've got the repair shop. Literally, you know, I was saying about job roles and how just have this other appreciation. Talk about people that look after, people that repair stuff. Yeah, you know what I mean? Particularly old stuff as well. They're like guardians of history. Guardians, you know what I mean? They are, though. Otherwise, where would we be if it wasn't for them restoring it to protect our history? So big up them. And there was a particular piece of interest that I just wanted to mention because it looked like loads of fun, which is called a Carrom Board. And it's like, you know, the little, you get them in your like arcades, you know, with the two, it's like the ice hockey one, you know, you go and it hits the little slit thing like that. Well, this is like a bigger one of those with four holes at the corners. Looks like mega fun. So yeah, I was going to see if I could find one. It's called a Carrom Board. For all the family, you know. And yeah, the Star of David. There was a lady that went in with her candle, and it made, you know, the candle with all the candles. So that made me look up the Star of David. This is where I was going with it. And what I found, so it's actually two triangles. If you don't know, the Star of David is two triangles. And it is like one normal one. And then the inverted one. Yeah. And then if you look at the there's loads of, I'm going to put a link to it actually, because that each point on the star means something different, and you could, I mean, there's loads of different information about what these triangles mean, and all of them are really interesting. But each point on the star, so you got creation, God, revelation, human being, redemption, universe. very interesting. Because Judaism as well is very spiritual. I've just kind of, I only had a light understanding of Judaism until just recently when I started reading up on the Book of Enoch, and now that I've been invited to do Bible study with the Israeli Bible Center. I think. Yeah, I'm going to do it anyways. And the same with Islam. Because I think all faith is important, and understanding each other's is equally as important. Yeah. So, and this. Sorry, I told you that's where my brain goes. Yeah. I'm going to put a link in because Muslim, obviously, there's what is the halal. Yeah. Vaccines have some of their ingredients are animal products. Those animal products are not halal. So that's just an additional reason, if you needed one, as to why you shouldn't have it. I mean, there is literally a long list of reasons not to have this jab, and I'm literally struggling to think of one as to why you should. And I'm going to be honest with you, when you read the links that I'm going to put in here, you ain't going to want to it is going to cause more harm than good, this vaccination. 100%. Absolutely. No shadow, no doubt in my mind whatsoever. And there's a lot of, with the whole thing I say about everything's a sign, and then I'm looking at it and then it's all related to this anyways. So one word which I keeps getting floating around, which is and I different people have used it in different contexts, in different programs, which is the plague. Now, I'm just going to leave that there. And that is not I think that the vaccine and the effects of said vaccine is what I'm feeling like may cause that. I don't know. I'm just adding up the information that I've read, because layer up all of the information from all around the world, like, to get the picture. And it's not just, I don't need it. And yourself, everyone knows in their heart of hearts that something is really wrong here, and that's because it is really wrong. And it isn't. It is not what they're saying it is. also, got to remember that most politicians go into it because that's their calling. They want to make a difference, right? They want to help. And they can go into it with the best intentions in the world, but they are still puppets. It's the puppet master we need to get. You know what I mean? Puppet masters. There's the main one, and then there's the roots. So I think that's it for now. But yeah, you see, I just went all over the show. But ultimately, just letting you know, we're on it. We've got this. Because unfortunately, the truth speaks for itself. History speaks for itself. The evidence speaks for itself. And when everyone knows all of those things, there's really nowhere they can go. You know what I mean? It's like, got ya. It really doesn't matter how much money you got. If you're an evil fucktard, you're an evil fucktard. Like, serious. Sorry for the bad language. So yeah. There's nowhere for them to hide because there's so many of us, and the evidence is overwhelming. So fear not. Thank you.